Let's give this one a go. Yeah, use that. There we go. Rusty Cam, no, not yet. He's been in the room all week when I've not been streaming, and then as soon as I've come back on stream for the last few days, he's not been seen. But he's literally it was a perfect time to have a little stream of him. I think I'll just buy probably another OBSBot Mini without tracking, and just have it pointed like down at his bed when he's in. It'll just be a camera of Rusty sitting, sleeping for the most part, though. But what game? This is a Game Gear. So I am going to be doing a SNES, so a Super Famicom in Japan, SNES in the UK and America. I'm going to be adding a RGB output to it. But I just want to quickly build a Game Gear on a re-PCB because I need an extra one. So this is the connector port off the Game Gear I need. And I need the ASIC off the other side. This board will be toasty now. So that we don't need now. I can lift that up out of the way. What camera's on the face? It's the OBSBot. OBS bot. I think it's the OBSBot Tiny. And then this one with the moving around bit is the OBSBot Tail, I think it's called. And then I've obviously got the overhead, which we'll use now for stripping this off. Chat's still not technically working, by the way, either. So I've got like literally a Facebook window open, 2 YouTubes for vertical and horizontal, and I don't think anyone's on Twitch yet. So, but yeah, the chats are a bit all over at the minute. They don't kind of merge. So I've got loads of chat windows open. So if I'm a bit slow at replying, that's why. I have to kind of look all over the screen to find it. Right, what else do we need off this? We've got that. Just need the ASIC off this one. So, bit of flux on this chip. And what we're going to do is swap it over to my brand new re-PCB. So we're going to zoom out a little bit, I guess, there. A little bit close for this one. This is the original. This is one of my remade Game Gear boards. Now, actually, we'll prep this board first. We'll do it the other way around, so we can just hot swap and drop straight on. So pull focus a little bit. There, perfect. I'm going to pre-tin all these pads. And then we can just basically lift off one board, plonk straight onto the other, which is what we want. We don't want it floating around in the air for too long once it's off. Repair simulator. To be honest, it's probably not a bad idea for a game. Trying out this new knife tip as well. So I normally have been using a like a gull wing, I guess it's called, gull wing tip before this. That's great for dragging the ball over, but I've just brought a new little mini knife tip I'm trying out. Seems to be working just as good, to be honest. I just noticed this knife tip though can't transfer heat as much as the gull wing, but still done a good job there. It's dragged over quite easy. But yeah, it's a like a little mini knife. So that's me new tip at the moment. So I hope I sold the QFM properly this time. Yeah, thanks for the motivational support. I haven't really had any more practice on specifically the 1 ASIC since then. These 1 ASICs are renowned, at least for me, because I haven't done many, that the pins don't really sit flat to the board. So I'll show you what I do on this. Keep the temps down to 330 and 80% airspeed. We hot air this off, and then I'm going to use a little sucker tool like this to pick it up so we don't bend the legs. And then we'll swap it straight over to the other board. And I think we'll try, because we shouldn't have to bend the pins. It's coming off a board, you know, with the pins where they are. But I just find these don't flow down very good. So I'm going to try just lift it off and drop it on. Now I've got a bit more used to this new hot air station, but I just feel like you need to really bend these pins down to get them working good, but we'll see. Any update on the spare parts for the GT? Unfortunately not. I've literally, since doing the GT, I've been slammed with Christmas orders, repairs, hardware running out, new designs being needed. I'm still running around at the minute crazy trying to keep up, hence working every weekend for the last month. I haven't forgot about it, it's just that's how stuff goes sometimes when I'm obviously I'm the only one that does that kind of side of the business. Afternoon, welcome in. I've got for those joining a bit later, I've got loads of chat windows open because the chat isn't merging for some reason. So I've got literally Twitch, multi-chat, TikTok, YouTube, a second YouTube, and a Facebook all open. Which, to be honest, I don't even know if the Facebook updates unless you focus the window. So let me just click that window. So if I'm a bit slow at replying to chats, just bear with me. I'm kind of looking around all over the place to keep up with it. VDB barbecue party here. I'm not the best at these yet. Need some more practice. We'll go up. I think this is where we went up to like 380 on these, I think it was. Nearly there. I think the cold weather doesn't help. See how long this is taking to even remove is making me want to preheat the other board, to be honest. So that's just about off. Probably just keep this going, get this over. We want to turn it this way, place down. And this is where we can put it down now, it's on the board. Oh, wicked. TikTok's limited us yet again for apparently selling things. this TikTok is getting absolutely absurd. So that's the TikTok again. So that'll be the max viewers we get now. Like, they're literally doing it constantly. We're redirecting users to purchase where? Where have we ever said that? It's like, as soon as I start a stream, it's just like a default. You're kind of blocked straight away. TikTok is dog shit, to be honest. It's getting really ridiculous on the stream side of things. They're killing their own audience. It's TikTok's just now a sell on our store or don't do lives kind of business, I think, unfortunately. Alright, so let's nudge this into place. You want these pins to be, again, as accurate as possible. So let's zoom in a little bit. Let's try and get this nicely aligned. And you saw on TikTok it went up to, like, 40, 50 people like it does, and it'd normally go to hundreds. And then now it's blocked it, so that'll just stay at 20 or less and won't grow. It's just crazy. Like, why bother offering a live service if you're not going to let people actually do lives? Makes no sense. I have a great CRT monitor, works well with my SNES, but won't work on my N64. Because the N64 and the SNES have different outputs. Both, are you using composite or RGB? If it's RGB, it's definitely why. If it's composite, still technically slightly different in the output, but if it's RGB, it's definitely why. You want to really do. The best solution is to do clean RGB, which I'm about to do on a SNES. I'm literally about to chuck on this clean RGB mod for a SNES. That's what we're doing in a minute. That gives it perfect RGB output, and I can show it you on my CRT. And then I'll be making one for the N64 after. That's like really the best solution to get the best output. And why does that look so slanted to my eye? Yeah, to get the best output, you really want the RGB, unless your monitor doesn't support RGB. There we go. I'm going to do quite a bit of preheating on this around first before we go down with the heat. SCART leads, yeah, what's the... well, I suppose you won't know if it, like, SCART leads can carry composite and RGB. Do you happen to know which it is, whether it's a composite SCART or an RGB SCART? Oh, yeah, thanks for the sub as well. I just noticed we've got another sub on YouTube. Bottom row isn't aligning. Oh, yeah, it's miles out. Yep, no, nothing's aligning. I mean, I'm not normally fussed about the alignment because obviously when you're hot air, it pulls into place, but we just know how shit luck I've had putting these 1A6 on. And like I say, I think it's just more practice. So we'll just go for it. I can obviously fix all the pins even if it takes a bit longer. I think it's just a bit of lack of confidence with not doing many 1A6 and being so naturally good at the 2A6 now. I think it just makes you feel like, oh, you can just do this one the same, but it's practice with specific chips and boards and you get used to them, and the 1A6 is just different. So I think I'll just go for it and get used to it, basically. Go the way I'd typically go if I was confident, and then if this doesn't go down well, we'll solder it with micro soldering, pin at a time if we have to. I think that's the way. Afternoon, welcome in. We are doing a Game Gear first, just building a Game Gear quickly because I need a spare one for making the clean screen V4. And then I'm going to be doing a SNES RGB mod. So mainly the SNES RGB. This 1A6 shouldn't take as long. This is just, I need one, so I figured I'd build it on stream. But I'm not going to spend too long on this because this is just literally something I need. I want to get onto the SNES though. But hopefully this Game Gear will work first time. And again, this is coming off a Game Gear. I don't even know if it works, to be honest. So this ASIC might not even work either. This is just random stock. So you can see we're getting a nice little bit of molten legs now. So it's starting to get where we need it. once it like liquefies the first time, it tends to then bond to the board slightly, cool down, and you have to carry on going for quite a bit after that until it warms all back up. But it's a good sign we're getting somewhere. And then I will still push this chip down once it's hot enough. I reckon we're probably all right to go for a nudge down now, I think. And this will just help with the legs to bond to the board, hopefully. But I have yet to have, I haven't done that many, like I say, funnily enough, all the 1A6 after this Saxton he's built he probably built more than me now of these. I think he did like 7 in 1 week. I probably only built the ones you've seen on stream of the 1A6, with the exception of maybe 2 others. So I haven't had much practice on this, but I've not had much success basically with these yet. So I don't currently hold faith that this will be soldered the way I wanted to first time. Because I've done nothing different there than I've done with the other ones. Yeah, it's a PVM. Oh yeah, you can see on the vertical screen, you can't see it on the horizontal. I'll be testing the SNES on that in a minute. It's a Sony Trinitron. I've actually got about 10 of them. If anybody wants to buy one and collect locally from Stoke, I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've got 8 left, plus the one I've got here. I just brought them all because they come from an Italian broadcast studio. So I went and collected, not from Italy, somebody shipped them over in a container, loads of them. Like loads of different size CRTs, and I brought these and a few others. And yeah, I just hoarded some, basically. Hey, welcome in, Jake. Oh yeah, I shouldn't really be working today. I literally said this weekend I was having off for the first time in 3 weeks. And I've had some time off. I worked this morning till about, I don't know, whatever time I got off stream, I think it was. And then I did about an hour after that. Then I've just walked rusty, chilled for a bit, and then I'm doing a little bit more now, but it isn't a full day of work, so at least it's a bit of rest. That Game Gear is good for the bin now. We don't need that. And let's get this and give it a clean up. Is everybody else ready for Christmas? I know I don't ideally plan to work after sort of mid next week if I can, or like not work seriously at least. Start winding down for the first time, because I normally always work right the way through Christmas, with the exception of Christmas Day and Boxing Day. I normally work literally right up to it and then straight back and work after, just because it's always been that way, or always busy, or something needing doing. But this year I plan to actually have a break as the goal. Probably be streaming, to be honest, because it's, you know, not too hard work and it's quite enjoyable. Right, oh, this is still sticky under here. I keep saying every time as well, I should put down these cloths before I work so that I don't get stickiness into the silicone. Right then, moment of truth. Let's test these pins. I kind of don't want to. Right then, stabby. Yep, another Game Gear. This is just a quick build though. Like I say, this is Boxing Day a British thing? I don't know. Day after Christmas? I presume everybody's pretty much the same. I presumed it was an well, I guess more religious thing, isn't it, Christmas? But I presumed it was international in a sense. Yeah, all of the YouTubes on one of the orientations aren't popping through as I thought. Enjoying the live feeds. Yeah, thank you very much. 400%, 400 degrees on medium. I'm impatient. Yeah, trust me, I've been doing 480 degrees Celsius for 15 years, doing this on and off. Never had an issue. Gets it done in seconds. And then we found out on stream I've been killing Game Gear VDPs for like 2 months. It's the only chip I've ever known to actually be affected by hot air. I always said, oh, you're never going to burn a chip with hot air. It takes too much. And I don't know whether there's a fault inside of the VDPs, but either way, we've confirmed it without a shadow of a doubt. I have been killing the VDPs. So then I've just turned my hot air down in general. And then I've now got to get used to working with that slower, lower temperature. So that's why things now, it's infuriating for me to kind of sit there and wait. It feels like you're waiting too long because I've got so used to how quick I can work with hot air. Now I just have to take my time more, basically. So I'm still learning the new way with changing up my equipment. I've changed my hot air station and I've changed. Oh, this is sticky on the bottom. Got flux everywhere. I've changed my flux now. HTTF. Everything seems sticky with flux. Yeah, so I changed the hot air station and the temperatures at the same time, which is probably a mistake because I wasn't used to my new hot air station, which is definitely hotter. Then I'm working on a new board as well. So I kind of changed everything in one go, which I shouldn't have. I should have just changed one thing at a time, but I'm getting used to it now. I've got used to the new hot air and how it's working. And this one is, I don't want to speak too soon, but this is the best one ASIC I've done so far. Everything's flown down as it should. I haven't pre-bent the pins. I haven't preheated the board. And every pin is rock solid so far. So this is looking good. A little short there. Let's get him off. Thank you for subscribing, Luke Skywalker. Hey, you can't nick my name. That's my nickname. There's your thingy. Yeah, like I say, with the temperatures, not necessarily a confidence thing with the temps. It's because I know for a fact I was killing Game Gear boards with the temperature, but I think it's made me slightly doubt, which I really shouldn't because that's the worst thing, slightly doubt my methodology of doing this and putting these chips on. And so far, I haven't had much success with the 1A6 yet, so I've just got to do enough of them that I build the confidence back up that the process works. You've got to basically, like they say, trust the process. Do what I'd normally do and not have this stigma that, there's Game Gears that are going to be susceptible to heat. I think it's really a Game Gear VDP issue specifically. It's not widespread because, like I say, I've done hardware on and off for 15 years and I've used 480 degrees Celsius all that time without a single issue and never killing a chip with air. But I have changed to the Quick K8, which definitely puts out more heat than the one I was using before. So maybe the 480 Celsius on the other hot air is actually not 480. But either way, I've got used to the lower temps now. It just takes a bit longer. So I'll slowly over time probably bump that temp up a bit because it is a little bit slow. I don't know. In one way I should, but in another way, slower is technically a bit better. Like you should follow the reflow profile of about 2 minutes. And when I was doing it with the 480, it was probably about 2 minutes off that. But this is like about 3 or 4 minutes, isn't it? It's a little bit slow. Hey, so look at that. One bridge and every pin soldered. Unless I missed something there, but I think that's working. I think we've chucked down a 1A6 successfully for the first time so far, basically. So now let's watch it not work. Let's see. What are we betting? Going to work or not work? Now, in my luck, it won't work after all the beautiful looking pins will have a dodgy ASIC. Oh yeah, I think I saw the new Alien game recently, but you know what I've just seen this afternoon? Tomb Raider. I forgot what it's called already. It's basically a remake of, obviously they've already remade Tomb Raider 1, but this is another remake of it. Somebody will know probably in the chat. About somebody else has seen it. It's just popped up. Something like Land of the, or Rise of the, or I can't remember, but it looks sick. So I want that one. I haven't replayed Tomb Raider in a good while, so I'll play that. Do I work on CRTs? Not at the minute. Too busy, basically. We have too much work in. So Facebook chat is appearing on the multi-chat now, but not in the actual Facebook stream. This one makes his mind up. This chat is all over the place. Are single ASICs as heat temperamental as a 2? No, I think the only thing I've known to be potentially dodgy, well, yeah, it definitely is. The only one is the VDP on the 2 ASICs. I've never known a single chip ever of any kind being susceptible to the heat bar that chip. And tell a lie, the Q12 and Q11, the big MOSFET, well, the big BJT transistor on the links 1 and 2, the main power switching ground transistor, that also is susceptible to heat, but with the exception of them, no, nothing else is susceptible to the heat that I've known, basically. Do I get a lot of GGs through where the boards are completely unsalvageable? To be honest, no, a lot of the GGs we get in, we get working, but I'd say 80% of the ones we get in, plus the ones we buy for stock, the screens are bad. Like, that's the most common thing. I think when the caps die, it probably kills part of the screen, or just the age itself is what kills the screen. But no, most Game Gears, we don't get that many in a bad state, to be honest. Or at least not visually in a bad state. But the re-PCBs, since we've introduced them, pretty much every single person that books a Game Gear in books it for a re-PCB now, which is good, because obviously this is all brand new circuits, so you're not going to get trace rot over a short period and stuff like that. So that's, that's a good thing. Thanks for the booster confidence, Jake. We'll soon find out. I have a game up here. The desk is starting to get pretty crowded with equipment now. I might have to reorganize a bit. I have to move things to grab things now. Right, we'll try the... is it Pow Kiddie? I always forget what this is called. Summit Kid. We'll try that instead of Sonic. God, it's been a while since I built one of these. Trying to think what to even do. We want the audio. And I don't think we have to do anything. 1A6, it is just that, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. So let's go for it. Try to get this on the... There we go, we can see on the vertical as well. Boot in, tap. Oh, no worky. No likey. And the pins are definitely soldered well, so not a pin thing. Maybe game. Try another one. Oh, yeah. It's clean screen. Clean screen's the... Well, no, it isn't clean screen because we're getting no boot light, which actually is just kind of... Oh. Yeah, might just be this dirty power supply not being as... There we go, that's booted this time. We did say to try with a proper clean juice, just in case the unfiltered power supply, it's not double regulated. The 1A6 might be a bit more susceptible to a noisy 5-volt rail. So let's just try it with... I've never had to do this with a 2A6 yet, but with the 1A6, let's try it. We'll just solder this on, and we'll use a clean juice just to be sure. pins were definitely soldered. So I don't think we've got, like, we don't even need to really look at the ASIC pins again, I don't think. That's that on. And now let's try this with clean juice. So this will now be fully regulated output. And no difference, which I kind of thought. So let's try now just a different game slot, because I've moved them around, and this is not necessarily a known working one. It's just one that's in my tub. Let's try this. Oh, look at that. So it was just the game slot. Yay, I can solder. So that one, it's probably because we use these so much. I think bending, see how this edge is bent sharp. Bear in mind we use these constantly and we're inserting them in and out. And I've probably just fractured like this ribbon basically with all the Game Gears we build. So we just dispose of these once we've used them and inserted them so many times they wear out. So there we go. Oh, tap the reset button. How much did the new station cost? The hot air station, I think it was, I'll check for you now, to be honest, while we're staring at Sonic on the screen. And I'll catch up on chat now before I jump on with the SNES. Can't turn that audio down either at the minute, because we're not using a clean amp. Right, let me just check on AliExpress a minute. £148 I paid for it, and it's called the Quick K8. I can pull this up. Where's my mouse? So this thing, which the only thing I don't like is the handle. So this handle on here. Let's turn Sonic off now. We're happy Sonic's working. So the only downside is this handle is a bit shitty, like kind of rests out the way. How this rests on is not ideal, because then this cable has to float down here and get in my way. And it's also not that long, so this hose is noticeably shorter than the other one. So it literally, if I want to lift up, that's now tight. And if you look on the desk, I'm barely where I need to be. So it's literally, it's just long enough, basically. So good enough, but it's definitely better on the heat. That's an absolute guarantee. But I think it could do with improving still, in terms of like the handle really wants to be a top-down handle, and it could do with being a bit longer as well. Right, so that's all I want to do on the Game Gear side. I need that now to finish coding the clean screen V4, which I'll probably do tomorrow. And now on to the SNES. Well, let me just finish this off, because I might as well. Just put them back there. I'll give it Zach, he can finish stuff. I'll now nick that. So I've got a working game slot. That can all go back in the tub, I guess. That and that. And then Zach's just got to put on the connector and the connector, which is no matter. 2 connectors. And now let's try and get the this thing modded. Let me just have a look at these comments first, what I was saying. Got anything good for the missus? I have. The problem is she sometimes watches these streams. I don't think she is anymore because she's seen them and now she's bored of them and sick of looking at me. But she knows one of the things we're getting, which is going on a holiday. She likes the money go on a holiday. She always just likes go away, basically. So majority of the money is on, like, you know, going somewhere. But other surprises, she hasn't got much because that's obviously the big one. But I better not say in case she ever watches this back. Candle making. Yeah, to be honest, the candle making stuff's quite cool, actually. I did want to do that as a business a few years ago. I was like tempted to make candles just as a nice business. Hi, Mrs. 6. See, if she's on, she might comment, but she's not a sub, so you won't see it. She won't pay me money, watch me. Rusty will be taken to like Center Parks or a lodge. He always comes with us, so we normally have a little winter break. We've had one already a few weeks ago. Went away for like 4 days, but I love doing that. Just going away in a little log cabin with Rusty, get the laptop, work away, and then that's it. Nice and easy and relaxing. I think I'm up to date on comments everywhere else. In the States, is there a good SCART alternative? As in for this, yeah, you can get the clean RGB. You'll have to just mod the console, so you're literally about to see what we do that. Where is the cable? You watch, I won't have a SNES cable down here. It's one thing I didn't plan ahead for. There we go. So one of the gripes with the SNES, well, in general with the retro consoles and the RGB side of things, I don't think anyone did it right before I started making the clean RGB. That's basically why I made them. I saw loads of people making these SCART cables, so this is our own we've made with a little nice branding, Retro 6, and what it's for. But you'll notice this is a pure RGB cable, we call it. So this is just straight through. For the most part, this is straight through metal to metal and shielded. There is a circuit board in there I've designed that sends voltages to CRTs to tell them it's widescreen 16:9 and it's RGB, not composite. So other than basically a few voltage movements to enable certain modes, this is pure copper straight through. And then what you do inside the console instead is you mod it with a clean RGB, which is what this thing is, and that gives you perfect RGB output. There's loads of cables out there already, but in my eyes, they put resistors in here that aren't right. They should always be 75 ohm load in order to filter the 4 megahertz noise on video signals. And what all the cables do is they put higher resistors on, because the voltages inside of here are completely wrong. They put higher resistors on to lower the voltage so that you get an output on screen, but it's not right because then you're bypassing all the filtering. So you've bypassed the 4 megahertz filtering. Doesn't make a huge difference, but for me, that was enough to make me want to make my own, basically. So if you want a SCART for a SNES, look at all them rusty hairs from picking him up, covered in rusty hairs. If you want it to work on any SNES, then this mod we're about to do will work on every single region SNES. And then you've got the same cable that works on them. So personally, I'd do exactly what I'm about to do in this, and this will be listed for sale. Right, so if we power this up, I think I tested it yesterday, maybe. Let's just check on the CRT. There's that lovely CRT Bing. And do we have anything on screen? Oh, well. Yep, we do. There we go. And see all this noise. So this is what's called mains home, and this is because we have a shitty little power supply. This is one of the things I need to make as a clean power for this. But at the minute, I've got it powered through. I've got rusty hairs on my back. Oh, that's from lying on the sofa with him. This is just like when the small like this and light. This hasn't got a transformer in, so it's not isolating the mains, and that's what that noise is. So what we need to do. Let me just see if I can quickly make one. I've got think this is a Game Gear one. So you've got these big heavy bricks. The fact they're heavy, this is telling you there's a transformer in here. So it's isolated from the main. So these won't get noise. But the problem is, the ends on them never go in the SNES. Like, they're all different as well. The UK SNES are different. So see how that doesn't fit? And even if it did fit, it's the wrong polarity for the UK one. So the UK one, this wants to be, or shows here, this little symbol. The plus there, I don't think this will zoom in close enough to see. But, because yeah, the focus distance doesn't want to focus. But see the little plus symbol there? And then it goes around the dot. That means the positive is on the outside. So the positive is on this outside piece. On the UK SNES, the positive needs to be on the inside. But if I just cut this, knocking over again, if I just cut this cable, we should be able to strip it down, solder on a wire, and let's just make a SNES power adapter quick while we're doing this. Still working on a holiday. Yeah, I like to work, basically. I like the work I've got. It doesn't feel like work when you're doing it at something. Got everything I need right here. Doesn't feel like work when I'm away and I choose to work. It's like a completely different feeling than being forced to work. Picked up a clean RGB on one of your cables to the Mega Drive the other day. Intrigued how much of a difference it'll make to the stock Mega Drive. Yeah, definitely let me know. I'm just starting to work on the Mega Drive mods as well, like in terms of, obviously the clean RGB's done. Yeah, that fits. But there's a lot of revisions on the Mega Drive where you get noise on the output that's got nothing to do with the RGB mod. You won't have to change that. But I will find out ways to clean up the video signal so you can follow them guides. So what I've got here is a lead. I don't know where this is from. I've obviously cut it from somewhere at some point. But that fits the SNES. So what I can do now is solder this onto this power brick. And we need to make sure we invert the polarity. So with the end cut off, let me get the multimeter on. And let's just measure which way around these wires are. So, it must be at least a full stone. Yeah, I'm 3 stone. What am I? 3 stone 4 pound now. Down. I got stuck for 2 weeks. Didn't lose anything for 2 weeks, which was probably part of all the stress with work, to be honest. So just literally nothing was happening. I wasn't moving weight. I wasn't overeating. Well, I say I wasn't overeating. I was having chocolates. The missus put chocolates out for Christmas, and I smashed the bowl within about a week. So probably that, to be honest. But I've still got some way to go, though. I think once you start losing weight, like I say, you realise how much more weight you need to lose. But I'm in no rush, so just happy it's starting to come off. Right, so that's my little multimeter software. It's ace to pull up software that I wrote at the weekend and see it work. Connect to the multimeter, perfect. Voltage. So now you guys can see on stream. If anyone's got any ideas as well, this software that you see now is something I've written completely from scratch. If you want to see me making it, you can just go on Angel 6 YouTube and see it being made. And see how it changes colour. That was a nice indication going through the colour range there. So as it comes down, white under, I think, 3.3, and then 13 volts, anything above, like, I think 12 volts goes hot, or 10 volts, something like that, I don't know what it is, and yellow's in between. But this is literally my software, so if you wanted this to, like, do things on stream based on voltages and things, we could do that. It's pretty cool. Right, so that's 13 volts, and the polarity's right. So if I inverted the polarity, just check my software does actually understand inverted polarities. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that's a good idea. The inverted polarity is white. Why don't we make the inverted polarity like ice? So see how, I could do that on stream, but that's going off topic. That goes like that. Who wants to see it go blue and icy? Or shall we get on with the job I should be doing? I kind of want to make that go like blue and icy, so you know you've got the same kind of colour, just for coolness. Properly not what I'm meant to be doing on stream, but I kind of want to. Where is it even at? Pull this repository. I think it was in Rider. I think I'm going to do it either way. I presume at least one person wants to see me do it, so I'm going to do it anyway. Yes, there we go. I think even if nobody said it, I was still going to do it. It shouldn't take 2 seconds, this anyway. And then we'll solder up that lead and yeah, that's it, because the install shouldn't take too long. Right, Stream Electronics, I've called it. I probably already forgot what I did with the software. It's been a week. Where did I change the color? Oh, there we go, nice and easy. So process value resistance, process value current, process value voltage. Oh, you guys can see this, I guess. Anyone wants to see a bit of coding? Don't think I'm giving away anything on here that you can't see. Pull this up. So this is the software I've written. Again, if you go to YouTube Angel 6, I wrote this all open source, and you can see it being made, and you can download the source code. Got a little function here: process value, resistor, diode, continuity, frequency, temperature, presume voltages here. There we go. Process live, voltage AC and DC are the same, so we can go into this function. And the way I've written it with MVVM means we've got nice ways to just bind values. So this is just gets set, and the UI automatically works. So you see if the value is less than 1, it goes to a plain color, less than 5, less than that, and then higher is that. So all we need to do is you could say if value is less than, so going the negative way, I'm not going to bother with all the others for now, like the negative 3.5, negative 6. I'm just going to say if it's less than 6 for now. That'll do. Less than -6. We'll add into there. Don't even need that extra actually. That can then become an else if. This can be a color here, and this can now be color. And I don't think we've got one. If we go to the actual colors, I don't think we've got a gradient for ice yet. We haven't. So let's make a new one here, and we will call this color temperature, color frequency, color temperature 2. It's a weird name I've called it, but I've called it color temperature. Okay, I'm not going to change variables now, I'll just call it color temperature ice. This can then be, oh, I've gone inside the wrong bracket there. There we go. Wondered why the IntelliSense didn't work. And now what we'll do here is change the colors. So I don't know, ice blue, I actually saw one there, aqua maybe. From aqua to white. Do we think maybe? Maybe a bit more bluey than aqua. Cornflower blue, let's go with that. And then all we need to do is go back, which is process value voltage, there we go. Change that to color ice. Close the software down. That goes off screen. Run the new software, because this is literally just running off the build that's literally on this machine. So this debug version will actually be the live version, so it should just show up on stream anyway when it opens. Wow, this is a bit slower when you're building. It normally takes about 1 second. That's up on my screen. There you go. So you can see it. It auto connects. Where's my mouse gone? There we go. Connect to multimeter. There we go. Right then, moment of truth. Did we write the software right? So, normal way. It should go fire. There we go. Now then, other way, do we get ice? Yes, that's sick. Simple things. Chili. There we go. Right then, back to what we should have been doing. So I need to now kill that a minute. Close that down, open it back up without debug, otherwise it's going to be slow. Connect up, right, there we go. That's on. So we need to unplug a minute, so we're not soldering with mains on, because I think I've mentioned it, but if I solder with this wire connected to anything with mains like this ground, and I touch, again, electric shock. So hopefully JBC soldering irons won't do that to you, but we might find out in the future. So let's just solder these wires on. I don't know which way, I'm not going to bother figuring out. I'll just get my little lead and solder them on one way. It's quicker than testing. If it works the correct one way, then we've done it. If not, we just got to flip it round. So let's just quickly solder these wires on. And I'll just tape them up. This is just for my my use in here, so I don't really care about cleanliness on the wires. It'll just get some electrical tape wrapped around it, and that'll be good for me. And these are not, obviously. Some people get concerned when they see, like, you know, cables like this. Even if you tape them, they think it's like high voltage or something. It's literally 13 volts. So there's no issue with kind of exposed wires. Right, so what I want to test now is the SNES is expecting positive on the outer. So we've got to probe the outer and then the inner with the black. So the outer should be there. Oh, look, right, first time. So now, if I've done that correctly, let's plug this into the SNES and it should work. So if it doesn't, it's going to blow the SNES up and I'll have to open it and fix it. So let's open up. Actually, it doesn't open up. We go to the CRT, which is still plugged in. There's a CRT, turn on. There we go, and see the noise has gone. So no hum now. So that's, if you ever see that kind of, basically it's normally lines that roll up slowly, or static that's across the screen wavy like that, usually moving, then that's mains hum, and what you want is a power supply that's got a transformer in, or a clean power once I've finally made it for the SNES. Right, so that's that. Let's get on with the job. There's another rusty hair. I'm covered in rusty hairs. Been lying on the sofa playing a game and Rusty's been sat on my shoulder, so absolutely covered in rusty hairs. During late what's going on, we are, well, we've just been messing with my little software so we can make the voltages show nice and icy, which we're now done with. So that can be closed. And we're about to fit, I've already got this, so you might know the clean RGB for SNES, which we basically use the universal mod. Let me just pull it up and show you. I've now made a drop-in. It's been asked for ages. So I finally got round to making, presuming this works, a drop-in mod for the SNES. So if I pull up the wiki, go to SNES, and the thing is, the install is pretty long-winded and scary for a lot of people as well. So clean RGB, you have to install the universal that we've just installed in the Mega Drives earlier this morning. Then the EdgeBuster is this giant thing here. And then you have to set the switches up and you have to tune all these dials, like 9 dials. And there's a lot of work and you have to pre-strip the wires. It takes a good while, it takes 40 minutes plus. We've still got to cut the AV port, there's no getting around that. But all these steps of kind of tuning and connecting and that is now going to be a lot easier because the kit will come with, that's the clean RGB and the EdgeBuster in one. And it comes with pre-stripped wires of all the right length and colour. So we're about, this is literally the first samples off the factory. Haven't even opened the bags yet. I've got, like, first time I've seen them, there's my entire collection. I've got 4 samples, so I've never even opened the bag yet. We're about to find out together whether this works. So composite can now go, we're done with that. And we need to do the clean RGB. It shouldn't take us long at all now, that's the idea. Should be a pretty much drop-in mod. Right, let me just tape up my super dodgy power supply now with my awesome soldering. And this can be a SNES, a clean SNES power supply. Until I make the USB clean power that I really need to make for it, because I don't know, there's just not enough hours in the day. People want the PS1 clean power, the Xbox original clean power, the Lynx clean juice. Obviously, a lot of mods people want. It's just when I get the time. And then I was about to do more mods and ran out of clean screen for the Game Gear, so then I've had to jump on that. And then now the final production batch for the V4 doesn't work. So I've got to, that's why I've just built the other Game Gear up, because I've got to figure out now what's changed in the production run. It looks like something simple, but the timings on the LCD are now out. So it's another thing I've got to figure out this weekend as soon as possible, so we can get this into production. Right, that's power supply out the way ready. this out of the way. So let's crack this thing open and try and install it. SNES mod for any region. As in like to unlock it, yeah, we've got the Pico SIC, if that's what you're meaning, which is basically just a super SIC on a tiny board. So that fits over the CIC and unlocks any region. Just doesn't work for 1 chips at the minute. I haven't made one for the 1 chips. Inner outer polarity on a bench. No, if you want to power it from bench, you either cut off a DC jack that fits into here, expose the wires like we did. Ooh. Yeah, missing some stuff in there. Cut the wires off and then make sure. Apply the bench to the wires and then measure the voltage at the end of the DC jack to make sure you've gone the right way. If you have, oh yeah, it's this shell is just cracked. This is going to fall apart when we open it. Not that it matters too much. If you open it up, you can just power from bench straight on like the 5-volt regulator if you wanted, or 9 volts on the DC input pin. But bear in mind, the bench will give you noise as well. Unless you're really lucky with a really high quality bench power, which even my Rigel one there still adds noise to video signals, I think. But yeah, for testing, it's fine. If you get time to do a soldering station, yeah. So I've got loads and I've used loads, but at the minute, I'm using, this is one of the first ones I could afford that was expensive. I had years ago, a Walla. It's called a WD1. And there it is. And the tips are, they've got some strange names. So these tips are ace because they basically just pull out like that, and they've got like a headphone jack there sort of thing. So you just like connect up. And it's got what's called active tip technology. So the very tip of the iron is measured, not just the, it doesn't basically just send heat to the handle. It measures the tip temperature and gets it really accurate. And then it also supports these things, which are, there we go to here. Kind of don't need to have it there. These are like, I don't really use them, but tweezers for removing like, SMD resistors and caps you can kind of grip like that. So it supports tweezers, which are the WMRT probably. But they changed the names of the new ones. So the latest stuff's like the WX Air, I think, or WX Smart. Before that, I've used like, fake JBCs, if you will, that are still really good. Probably not as good as the genuine ones, but I don't know. And then I've used Hackos as well. Hackos are a good middle ground, I'd say. In terms of the best irons, for the money, it goes, if you haven't got much money, it's a JBC clone, I'd say. They're really good quality for the price. If you have a bit more money, go a Hacko. If you have more money than that, go a Walla. And if you're rich, I'd go a JBC. Or if I can get some discount codes for you guys in the near future, you might be able to get a JBC for some decent money that compares to, a decent price, but still affordable for some people. And then I think you've got the Metacal as well, Metcal. Never used them really, but obviously they'll be good as well. All depends on your budget. This thing is filthy inside. I mean, the shell, I don't even need the shell. It's disgusting and gross and going in the bin. I'll reshell it. We will need this. Somebody's pubes are in there, nice. Don't need that either. Dishwasher, this should go in. Move that out of the way. Actually, that one can live up there. Screwdriver. Azun or whatever it is. Yeah, that's the one I've used until I've swapped back to the Wella. That's the one I've used. We have actually no, it was what I call Yeehaw, I think, but I have seen that make, yeah, and it is good. They're all based off the same. But I've also had a make this thing Yeehaw. Before I swapped back to the Wella, that was the make of iron. I've used loads, and to be honest, they're all good enough for the job. I will say though, since going back to the Walla, I haven't used it in a while because I kind of, my idea was to show you guys I wanted to kind of use equipment that was affordable to you guys, but to do the best job, I should really just use the equipment I have that's best for the job, and still be able to recommend cheaper stuff. So I went back to the Walla mainly because of getting my fume extractor. So this is a Walla fume extractor now. And the idea was, when I lifted the iron up, it turns on the fume extractor. And then I realised this Walla unit I've got, unfortunately, is too old, and without me figuring it out, which I probably will do, then you can't turn the fume extractor on and off with the iron because you need a new base, and I don't really want to pay another £400, or I think it's even more than that. I think it's like £600 for a new base when I've already got the iron and it works, and I've got 2 of them. So my solution for now was a literal switch on here that I just flick on and it turns on, and then my high-tech black electrical tape that holds everything in place in this business. But that's good enough for me for now. Yeah, just literally bits falling off as we're opening it. This is the problem with SNES shells. We used to retro bright them, but it made it even worse. But this is generally the average state of most SNES shells we see. It's literally just falling bits. Look at the bottom. Haven't even done anything yet. Just literally pulls apart. So when we retro bright them, it used to make it even worse. So we kind of stopped doing that on SNESs specifically because they're terrible. And then we eventually just ended the retro brighting stuff because it was just too much space and time. And I think it reverts itself after so many years and makes the plastic brittle and all stuff like that, which just wasn't worth the hassle for too many complaints from customers, really. If you want the polarity as well for the power supplies, just go to retro6.wiki, and then in the main menu, without going into anything, there's one called Power Supply Details that gives you all the polarities and DC jack sizes for all the consoles I've worked on. One more screw. There we go. Well, this thing is disgusting. In the bin you go. Fresh new bin bag, nearly full. Right, let me just delouse this desk now, and me. Oh, brought that. I don't know whether the same person that recommended the Fantech Hoover this morning. I've gone and brought one anyway, just for hoovering the car. See if it's any good. That'll do for now. Still fairly filthy. Oh yeah, maybe just IPA the desk as well. Right, clean enough to work, I think. So this install should be nice and easy. What we have, we're pretty much going to follow the guide I still have on the wiki for the original, and then obviously if this works, I've still got to order it up, mass produce it, make the install guides, all that good stuff. But for now, we'll basically want to go over the top, and we still want that on screen. Bring that back. See if I can lift this up with something as well, so it's not shining in the light. There we go. So on this mod, we can flick through most of it. Basically, the idea is red, green, and blue. We tap the inputs off Q3, 5, and 7 if it's this model number. If not, we can find the model numbers. So let's see what we've got. We have a CPU SNSP CPU1. So it's not going to be the same as that one, but I can add this one to the guide if it doesn't already. CPU S CPU2. So it's almost definitely going to be the same as CPU2, in which case it's still Q3, 5, and 7 actually. So that means we should be looking somewhere here, and I presume there's no photos of it. On the schematic, it's 3, 5, and 7. On here, I guess. Oh yeah, it's written on that one, so you can see it says 3, 5, and 7 on that picture. 5, 7. Why do I have a feeling it's not going to be the same as that one then? 3, 5, and 7. Maybe it is then. So 3, 5, and 7 are here, and 3, they're in completely different places as this one. Do I trust my own wiki? I kind of don't. I'm kind of skeptical of my own documentation here. Let me pull up the schematic, if we have one for this board. SNES. I bet we haven't got a schematic for it. That's probably why. Yeah, no schematic for that version. But all you have to do if you're not sure, and we can always test it, is you can see on here, this is PPU2. Go to the top here, you've got the red, green, and blue and C-Sync. If you look at the red, comes off pin 95, goes down this wire, goes into R. And then R is Q3. So red's Q3, G is 96, goes down across to Q5, and blue goes across to Q7. So I've probably based it off that. I wouldn't have normally written the guide if I hadn't physically installed it. That's why, I don't do that unless I've done the job myself. So all this wiki is my known stuff. So surely I've done it right, which means we can trust this guide then. I just kind of don't. So what we've got to do is solder our 3 wires to the inputs of these transistors. Then we've got to go to the AV port, which is the most tricky part of this install. The AV port's here. And you can see how you kind of can't see through anything. So look at that lovely silk screen where you can't see anything. So if I zoom in a minute, so you can see a bit more closely. So you just can't see any traces coming off these. Like you just about can. So you can kind of just see this trace coming off here and this one going here. And then where are these? You kind of can't see with reflection and light. You literally can't see a trace there or there or there. So it's very hard to see basically. So what I tend to do is I'll put a photo of the cuts normally like that. So see how that's now zoomed in on the microscope and showing you which direction the traces run so we can see. I want to eventually do this for all models because there's so many SNES models. But what we've got to do is cut the traces on this port, solder red, green, and blue and C-Sync wires, so 4 wires to this port. Solder red, green, and blue and C-Sync here, so 4 wires here, and then 2 for ground and 5 volt, and that's it. So basically just a bunch of wires we've got to solder. This is 10 times quicker than the other mod, if it works. Do I make new shells for SNES? Not yet. I'm going to probably make them for the Mega Drive first. That's the goal. Because the Mega Drive seems to be, now I've started doing a little bit on it, seems to be pretty popular. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. Is this 1 chip? No, 2 chip. So we got, zoom out a bit, got your 2 chips here. So it's, call it 1 chip and 2 chip because it makes no real sense. This is like 3 chips, CPU, 2 PPUs, and then your RAM. Well, RAM there, video RAM probably, work RAM. Encoder chip, lockout chip, So yeah, where's the 2 chip? The 2 chips just coming from the fact there's more than 1 chip, or there's 2 PPUs. But then on the one ASIC, there's just 1 giant ASIC that replaces these 3, but there's still RAM. So kind of doesn't make sense with the terminology, but we get the point. So let's take a look at this. Like I say, I haven't even looked at this board yet. So it's based on obviously the clean RGB universal, just preset with things. So I've put a low pass filter on there. You wouldn't normally bridge this because you don't want a low pass filter on RGB. You'd want that for composite, but because the final stage output can do a filter, and maybe some monitors don't like the over sharpening, you can still blob that. If you want to enable the EdgeBuster, you solder these 4 blobs together. That's because one chips don't need EdgeBuster, so just blob them on if you want it to work, and then that's it. You've got the inputs here, so sync red, green, and blue. Then you've got the 5V going to the cartridge port, the ground going to the cartridge port, and then these 4 go to the AV port. So should be a nice simple install. The back will have double-sided foam on when it comes to production, so it can stick over the top. For now, this has got nothing on. So let's get this thing installed. It also comes with, if I've measured these right and the factory have done the job right, we'll have some nice pre-stripped wire. Because as you see, that's a huge part of the install, is getting the wires the right size and length and pre-stripped. So this is going to save us so much time with these nice wires. Look at them nice colours. So we'll see. Usually I make stuff and things don't always work first time, but let's see if I'm lucky. And the biggest step left on this job is literally that AV port. So maybe we get that AV port out the way first. Let's try and keep it this way up. Zoom into this port here. Wow, still need to adjust the overhead light. It's not quite angled right. NES Clean RGB. For now, I am not going to get time for it. There's definitely plans at some point. But the RGB for that's going to involve, similar to the 2600, I'd have to remake or interpret the digital signals going to the PPU and reconstruct RGB frame buffers and things. It's quite a bit of work. Unfortunately, there's no real good solution. There's a Lava RGB is the one I'd recommend for now. It's just the main problem with NES is adding the connector, like the multi-out connector is your biggest problem, I think, on that for now. Right, so what I want to do on this is we need to cut the green. So green is here. This is green. This is red. This is blue. This is C-Sync. So basically these 4 pins. Now, the last version, there was a trace coming down here and across. The other one, you can see that one. You can see that one. It's there easy. I can't see this or this one yet. So I'm actually going to go over to the microscope saying that so we can see better. So let's jump it over to what I presume. Yay, microscope. So because I need depth perception for this. Does this pay good? Not really. Not massively at all. But if you enjoy it, it's still a fun job. Right, so can you guys see that? No, not quite. Let me adjust that to... Oh, yeah, there we go. I can focus that separate. Nice. Right, so let's cut the ones that I know of. LumaCode is an interesting option for NES too. Yeah, there's loads with LumaCode. The TIA digitizer for the 2600 uses the LumaCode. So cut that trace. Clean through there, I presume. That's on there. What is this? This is a SNES, so a Super Famicom in Japan. SNES everywhere else. The old retro console. We're just upgrading the video signals to RGB, which is like really nice, basically. Probably the best. Well, it is the best output you can get out of the console. And then you can always upscale it to HDMI through an OSSC. I don't think I've missed any chat either. I think I'm pretty much keeping on top of that fairly good. What microscope is this? It's an AM scope or AM scope, however you want to say it. Ah, see that trace there running up? We can see that one. So that's where we want to cut that one. So I'll put this on the wiki if somebody reminds me if I don't. Probably somebody wants to, when we've done with this, maybe somebody clip this so it shows up on Twitch's clips. Once we've cut all these traces, and I'll like hold the board there. Oh, there's the other trace coming out this way. So yeah, when I've cut this trace, if anybody is even on Twitter, no one's on Twitch. Oh yeah, we've got Mark on Twitch. Oh, just in time. You've just joined Twitch. So when I've cut this trace, can you like clip it on Twitch so it adds to my clips, if that's how it works? I literally don't know how Twitch works, so I presume I'm saying it right and that's what makes it work. But I want to add a photo of this cut basically to the wiki, and then if I forget, well, that looks a bit nasty there. Oh, I mean, nice clean dig's now got a bit of copper over the top, but yeah, that can be I can screenshot it then. So let me zoom in a bit, maybe. Pull up. What a shame I've got that scratch there now. But yeah, that's what we're trying to show off is on this revision of board, here, you've got this cut, this cut, this cut that's a bit hard to see, and this cut here that's like blown through the traces. And this is a CPU 01, SNSP CPU 01. So this is the bit we want to capture now, basically, to kind of show that. And then if I don't remember, somebody remind me on Discord in a day or two to upload these pictures, basically. So that's all good. And then I will turn them off. Just let me know when you've done it, and I'll take this off. And then food's on the table as well. Man has just come in, so I'm gonna go and quickly have lasagna and come back in and finish this off in a minute. So I'll just leave the stream on with nothing, nothing on stream. I guess just a little note saying "gone for grub," and then I'll come back and finish this off if anyone's still on when I come back. It took a little bit longer than I was expecting. So be right back eating lasagna. I got some screenshots, cool. So we've got that anyway. So now I won't be that long. I'll eat fairly quickly. Shame I'm not quite done. Go back to that view a minute. Do that. Da-da. I have got like overlay screens and everything, but this is my professional way of saying I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, if you guys want to stick around, I'll literally be 5, maybe 10 minutes at most, and then we'll solder this thing on. Let's put a teaser on there. There we go. That's what we're going to be doing in a minute. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in a minute, or everybody's going to disappear, whichever. There we go. How was that? Fairly quick. Smash that in. Got a red face. I've eaten that quick. Can't send the link. Yeah, I saw the link, and then I need to turn these bots off now on the chat because obviously the chat's subs only anyway. So like what shows on stream. Right then, let's finish off this install. Should be nice and quick. I don't think I'll need that note again. Mind you, I might do. Shall I keep the Be Right Back lasagna note? That was well good. So the missus is laughing at me because I've got a craving. Never liked sprouts in my life, really. Since I've been eating healthy, I'm literally craving sprouts and cabbage of all things. So every meal, it's like, can you put some sprouts on? It's like with lasagna, I'm like, yep, sprouts and lasagna, please. No, I didn't rush. It wasn't that big. Well, it looks big, but this is a tiny plate. So flip up right away. That's like a small plate, not a big plate. Just literally tons of sprouts and a bit half of a lasagna. But no, it was well nice. And like I say, I'm knocking off after this anyway, so it's kind of come back in, finish this off, and then go chill. Homemade, not this one. I do actually make them. I make the lasagnas, but this one's a homemade in a way. It's a brand where they make them fresh and they only last a few days. I'll have to get the name of it next time. But they like come in a little packet. You can tell they're literally like, you know, freshly made, not preserved in any way. And they do like cottage pies, lasagnas, fish pies. We get them every couple of weeks maybe. And then we just have like the meal for one, but split in half to keep the calories low, basically. But yeah, well nice. I do, like I say, make my own lasagnas though. And they are really nice. They're just a lot of work. Right, so the goal of this one is to zoom out a little bit. Drop the picture over on Facebook. Ah, nice. Facebook Messenger. I'll take a look at that later. Yeah, I do read the YouTube streams. The comments are completely messed up at the minute though, so they don't appear in my combined chat. They sometimes do, mostly don't at the minute. They've just gone all over the place. So I read all messages when I see them. You just have to kind of bear with me. Right, and so the goal of this would be to sit somewhere around here. You want these input wires to be as short as possible. So, where's my tweezers? This is realistically the longest length you want this wire to be. And the reason for this is because the EdgeBuster injects current back into the transistor legs. The longer this is, you're making a loop. You're basically making a loop that you don't want on the EdgeBuster side of things. So if this doesn't fit from here to here, then you need to move the board closer. So the idea will be, we'll solder onto the transistor legs. It's always the bottom left pin of the transistor. So if there's 3 legs and the middle's at the top, it's always the bottom left. If we look at the wiki, I'll do a proper guide on this, obviously, when we've done this. Red is Q3, so, and this is the only thing, I haven't put them in any specific order as such. I've obviously put them red. See how you, oh, I actually did. Red, blue, green. It's normally RGB, isn't it? Red, green, blue. But because the transistors on most, if I've got this right, Q3 is red, so I'm presuming Q5 is blue. So then I've put it in that order. Q5, oh no, of course it's not. Q5, maybe on the other revision, let me scroll up. I put these in that order to help alignment. So on the other one, it was, let's take a look. Red is over there, then blue. Yeah, so on the other revision, just so you know, I'm not making porkies up and design something wrong. On this revision that we're not doing, you can see the red comes in, goes across. Q3 is red here. Q7 is blue. So it goes red, blue, and then green. So I oriented the pins here in that order. But then, of course, this revision, it's now red, green, blue. So I might change these back to red, green, blue for production because it's more natural that way. And if there's another revision that's obviously got them in that order, it kind of makes sense to do that, unless I've written my guide wrong again. I keep questioning my own guide. Let me just pull up the schematic a second. Enjoy the content and things I do. Thank you very much. I enjoy sharing it. As long as people enjoy it, I don't mind it. Trying to make some decent content for retro without it becoming political when you're running a business is quite difficult as well. So red was Q3, green is Q7, so yeah, so it is right, red, blue, green on this one. Right, so soldering then. We can use the coloured wires and get the extractor fan on. And then we have Q3 is here, so we want Q3 is red. We'll get the small red wire. There's that one. Then blue was next. No, green was next. It's going to get confusing because this one does have the pins the other way around. So red, green on the 5. And blue is the 7. There we go. So red, green, and blue. We can tin these pads then. Red, green, and blue, and make sure we cross over the green and blue on this one because obviously different order. I could make like a little flex ribbon for different models, but for now this is a massive leap forward in terms of quickness. If this works, then I might consider making like a little flex ribbon for them as well. Okay, right, so red, green. This is nice quality wire they've used as well. This is the kind of wire I want to get. I want to maybe get instead of the Kynar wire. There we go, red, green, and blue. Sync will leave a minute. Now, the other ones for the red, green, and blue output, let's do them. And let's do the ground and 5 volts nice and easy. Because the ground and 5 volts are going to tap off either side of the cartridge connector, and I'll show you in the schematic so I can remember myself. When I designed this board, I kind of looked it up and found that 5 volt, I presume then, is this inner pin here, and ground will be this inner pin. That's why they're on these sides of the connector, if I've done it right. So, cartridge connector, where's my mouse? PPU, CPU, where's the cartridge connector? Sound chip. How can a giant cartridge connector be hiding on the schematic? There we go. We have pin across to, zoomed miles across. Where did that go? There we go. Overlay the screen. Here's the cartridge connector. You can see ground is pin 5 and 36. 5 volts is pin 27. So there's pin 25. So pin 27 is this one. So hence 5 volt goes to here or here. Doesn't matter which. Top and bottom. And ground is here, the 5, or this pin up here, which is 36. So that's why I've put them pins there. So again, you shouldn't really have to refer to the manual for this. Now, the only thing is, because we're using red, green, and blue already for the outputs, I've used yellow for the C-Syncs because I use yellow in all my guides. So then for the ground and 5 volts, I've used orange and black, as opposed to like red, because I'd usually use red for 5 volts. These I can obviously change the size of, but until we see, and I've installed this on all the revisions of SNES, I just made this, because the length isn't super critical, I just made it a bit longer, just so we definitely have enough length. I brought some stuff off the website, and you need more after Christmas. Yeah, thanks very much. It's all appreciated, because it's, like I say, it's a small business. People think we're a lot larger than we are, and we do go through times where we struggle. We have done for years with the business, so we're in a good spot now, but it's anyone showing support and actually buying things is always appreciated. And obviously the subs on this stream will eventually help as well. And the donations and things like that, it all adds up. It's all the small things that add up that keep the businesses going. So that's the ground and 5 volts. You can see how easy this is. Let's clean up that flux because I can't stand looking at unclean flux. Where did my sponge go? I've lost my sponge. Oh, it's holding the board up. I'll get another sponge. And then let's just zoom in on them, make sure they're all good. And they look pretty, yeah, look pretty clean to me and good enough. So now the sinks, well, actually, now the red, green, and blues can go to the pins here, which, if we check on the wiki, we had red at the bottom, green above, blue over there. And hopefully these wires don't look long enough, as I'm saying that. Oh, yeah, they are, just about. So I did measure accurately enough. I was just looking at how far away this was, and it is okay, it's good enough. I know it's all appreciated, all the support in any way, even if it's just like spreading the word about the business. It doesn't have to be donations and things. It's that's why I always like giving away knowledge for free. That's like the main thing I like to do. But also the donations are more like they show that people do actually support what we're doing, and it's appreciated sort of thing. It's not the amounts as such, though. Obviously it all helps, because like I say, we do have to run a business, but it's more the fact that we've even got the 41 subs. That alone says it all. The fact that we've got 41 people paying to watch sub only streams. It's just nice to know there's a community out there that support you. That means a lot to keep my willingness to keep doing this kind of job, when basically I could be earning 10 times this doing software, but I enjoy this. So you guys are helping me keeping a business that I want to do, if you know what I mean. So we've got red, green, and blue in the right order there, and C-Sync we can put on because that's going here as well. So this is the long yellow wire. Hey, welcome in, Joey. We're just finishing off installing the new clean RGB. Nice simple install. Clean RGB and EdgeBuster board for the SNES. So that's them four. These can now go down to here. Solder onto this. This is so cool though, being able to, if you've ever installed the clean RGB for the SNES, you'll know how much easier this now is and how much less work. This is enjoyable. And yeah, I think I'll definitely swap these around. Now I know that there's multiple revisions of the SNES where the red, green, and blue are the typical order down here. I might as well just put these back to the standard, because that's going to cause confusion. People will be wondering why we've used red, blue, green, not red, green, blue. So I'll change that over. So the only other thing left, this is where I think I definitely have made a mistake though, in the wire length. It doesn't matter because it's a prototype. But where's my cursor gone? Yep. I've made the last C-Sync wire for some reason small. Now, I maybe did this because we can probably find a point on this board that we can find C-Sync, but I generally find that you need to go to the PPU on top of here to pin 100. So this pin here. That's generally where I find it. Now, whether I was thinking in my head, I'm going to find a via that this goes to and recommend soldering to that, and that's why it's small. I'm not sure. It's too fat to fit through a via. So it's like, why did I choose to make this small? I'm not sure. My guess is going to be I plan to recommend following this trace and putting the guide on. So we'll do that because that's my presumption. I did think this all through, so it kind of makes sense that I've obviously thought of that, but I made this like 3 weeks ago and I forgot since then what I did because I've made other things. So pin 100 C-Sync goes up through here, the second wire over to this via here. So if we follow that via, what we have here is a triangle, and it will be the bottom of the triangle, but when you flip it over, it's the left side. So if we flip that board over, we're somewhere here, and can we see a triangle somewhere around here in this awful mess of vias? Yeah, there we go. So that's the triangle. So on this board, that is C-Sync. So are we long enough to get from there to there? It looks like we are. Put that sponge under there, hold the board up. So let's try now solder that on. Evening, welcome in. We're just at the end of installing this new clean RGB for the SNES, which hopefully works. It's got the EdgeBuster built in and the clean RGB, and it comes with all the wires pre-stripped into length. So the install, we've only been on this install, what? I'd say 10 minutes at most we've been on this install, and it's basically done now. If it works, obviously. Which, obviously, the final product will work either way, so even if this doesn't work, this is like the length of the whole install now, which is a massive improvement. So, tack him on. There we go. And if we've done everything right, which I'm pretty sure we have there, and if I've made the mod correctly, so there's a lot of ifs at the minute, this should work. Now, actually, one thing I know I haven't done, because I didn't have time when I was making this mod, I didn't actually calculate the resistor values. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Maybe I did, but I don't think I calculated these resistor values. But the point is, the board should work even if the voltages are off, and then we tweak these resistors before we go to production. So I think, if anything, we might have to change these resistors. I think I didn't do the calculations of. If I remember rightly, I didn't do the calculations on those resistors. I just set them to a rough value I thought they might be. So we'll find out if that works anyway. So that is basically the install. Like, obviously, this will have double-sided foam on, so you can put it nice and even, but that looks pretty neat as it is, to be honest. Kind of happy with that. It's not bad at all. So that's all the install will be. And like I said, this has got the EdgeBuster as well. Much easier. So now, I guess, moment of truth. Does this even work? What do we need? Game. RGB cable. Do you do the Xbox HDMI mod? I do, yeah. At the minute, we're in between changing mods. So we used to do the Project Stella. We've gone from Project Stella now to I forget how you pronounce it. I can't even think of the name of it either. Basically the Pico, like the Raspberry Pi Pico mod. I've been working on it for 2 days and I can't remember the name of it. But we install that mod chip now, so you can run Prometheus OS as like the initial bootloader in a way, and then you can flash SBIOS and other things. And from that, then I was trying to get the HDMI Xbox HD Plus from Make Megahertz to work. It just doesn't work. I've either got a faulty Xbox or a faulty HDMI mod. But yeah, we do offer it. It's just you won't get it before Christmas at the minute, because I had some major trouble with, actually let's put this in the OSSC, with getting the HDMI working with non-Project Stella stuff. I do plan to make my own HDMI when I can be, well, not when I can be bothered, it's when I get time. It's fairly easy to make on the Xbox. Just converting RGB or component to HDMI using off-the-shelf chips pretty much. So it's not that hard, it's just finding the time. Right then, let's turn on. Hopefully we're not already on. Ah, no way. First time. Haven't even tuned anything. I didn't expect that to work because I'm sure I didn't tune the values. So now you see all that blur. So I can't kind of put my arrow on the screen, but see all the white text. See that blur going off to the right? That's what the EdgeBuster fixes. So wrong screen there, putting the overlay on. What we need to do now to fix that, and again, you might want to, for your own reference maybe, you might want to kind of screenshot that screen now and then see all this blur. So like see on the Super Mario Kart, you have like white blur going off to the edge. That gets much worse in different parts of the game. But that alone, you can see the blur. So if I now go over to this view, and all we're going to do, there's no other magic involved. We're going to solder them points there. I'm going to turn the power off, unplug the cables so I don't get zapped. And we're just going to bridge them points to enable the EdgeBuster. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Let's hope that guy that gave us a bad review on the 2600 clean comp doesn't try and install this as well, because he'll rip them pads clean off. The dude cannot solder, I don't think, by the sounds of it. We'll connect the power back up now. So I've done nothing else to it, just soldered them in. And if this part of the circuit works, look at that. Nice and sharp, so all that blur's gone. Yeah. I mean, in fairness, I did have my product ripped off in Australia, and then an Australian dude just leave a negative review that was just ridiculous, trying to say a product was shit. It was, and I was overworked and grumpy. So it's fairness, I can slag him off. So that looks like it's working fine. We could maybe scope the values. Can I be bothered to get the oscilloscope out? Maybe. Let's plug a game in, I guess, first and play a game. Was it ACE? What, the mod or the person? Not sure. I don't know who they are, really. There's a guy that I thought wasn't a dick, but apparently is. Quite well known. Blatantly ripped off the 2600 clean comp, because I give all the knowledge away on the wiki. So just use that knowledge to make an exact board. Use my guides. Use the... I mean, a perfect example, just so you know, I'm not bitching about nothing. If we went to Atari 2600 and video faults, maybe, let me bring this up, segue, give all the knowledge away on all the faults and how to fix them, and propagation delays, perfect timing, how to, fix it, how to see everything, and basically how to do this. And bear in mind, before I released this guide, there was no composite guide as clean as the clean comp for the Atari 2600. Nothing existed at all. I made all these notes exactly how to extract it from the TIA, which nobody else has ever done until this. Broke down all the guide. The key important thing, though, is there's a footnote by... where is it? There's a footnote from Atari themselves that I put in the wiki somewhere here. So this is the Atari official guide that recommends adding a resistor to the 2600. Now, until then, nobody else recommended removing it, and I put, this is 100% wrong, this is wrong, here's the scope of why and what it does, exactly on a scope, what it causes, and why to remove it. So now, the clone version of the product does exactly that. Doesn't mention the wiki, doesn't mention that they learned it from this website or me, and just explains in their install guide, oh, by the way, you want to remove this resistor because it's wrong and it fits on the underside just like ours. And it's literally a blatant clone of ours. They couldn't care less. And then a week later, we get a negative review from Australia saying that, oh, the clean comp is terrible. It's killed his flash cart. It's ripped pads. It's like the dude just can't solder, basically. So yeah, it was a bit of a piss take. I rarely, go at people for anything, but that was, sometimes you just have enough. You just get sick of people taking the piss. We've had so many of our products cloned now, it just gets a bit embarrassing. So I figured I'd have a little jab back just because I can. But yeah, I also made a new batch, manufactured it cheaper, and undercut their product anyway within a day. So got my own back there as well, I guess. Right, so there we go. Let's have a look at Mario Kart. Select and start. Yeah, so we definitely need to... Oh, no, this is that capture thing, and it might just be the HDMI capture. That's definitely bright, but let me just check if we've got this HDMI capture card's pretty overkill. No, it looks about right. I'll bring it down. No, so we've got to tune them resistors. I thought we had. Thought it was a bit too good to be true, but see how that's obviously quite bright. So we'll fix that in a second. Let's just look at the cleanness of the image. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I think that's not far off. Ignore, like I say, the brightness. We're just looking at the sharpness of the image for now. It's kind of killing me not fixing these resistors, though, because I need to fix that brightness. It's way over bright. Yeah, oh, jeez. I forgot about the stream lag. Oh, my God, this is impossible playing on stream. Jesus. Yeah, you need zero lag to play Mario Kart. Definitely. Whoa, yeah, you cannot... by the time you press left and it moves on screen and you let go, you've already moved like another 180 degrees. Yes, that's working, but look at the brightness. Let's now, let's scope that and, oh, let me bring that up a second, actually. Let's fix, does the flash card, yeah, so the flash card boots up and there's white on the screen, so we can tune to that. So that's what we'll do. Unplug that, flick the power switch off. You won't have to do this, by the way, this is just because it's a prototype. So I'll fix these resistor values, and then it would just drop in and install like this, basically. I don't know if I can be bothered just work out all these calcs, to be honest, on stream. It's not going to change anything. I'll probably do this tomorrow, fix the resistors, and then show you on stream tomorrow it working. All I've got to do is take off these tiny resistors. Where are they? On here. I've got to take off, it'll be 3 of these resistors I've got to take off, put on a potentiometer, tune it perfectly on a scope, take it off, put then a resistor of that value back on, and then tell the factory to produce this board and flip around the B and the G, and that's it. It'll basically sit down on any SNES, and that is the entire install of a clean RGB. Then it's that simple. Just literally solder them pre-cut wires on, join them pads if you want to have the EdgeBuster, and that's it. It's wicked. So I'll get this into production, and then obviously you need a clean RGB cable to go with it. But yeah, that's working first time. That's a product that works very first time, which is not necessarily uncommon, but pretty rare. Normally you have to do something. I know we're going to flip these wires around, but that's just a preference. And the resistors aren't really a thing that's wrong. I just kind of knew that I just chucked some resistors on so then I could work it out live. It's easier to basically chuck a potentiometer on, tune it live on a real SNES than it is to do calculations on a spreadsheet just to pick a resistor for a factory. It was easier to just chuck something on close. Then that's what it is. Touch the chips getting hot? No, nothing overly hot. They run, these op amps will run about 40-50 degrees, so you should be able to put your finger on for like a second or two. That's what they're designed to do. But I was just checking they're not getting any hotter than that, basically. And that's because that's literally how they operate. These run at about 40 to 50 degrees, these op amps, pulling the current. You can lower that down. You can do... you can basically get a different amp that can support more current, but they're designed to support like, I think, 30 milliamps of current, and they put through like about 8 on each channel. But no, they're perfectly. We can see on the thermals what they run at. But they run based on touch. I can kind of tell from touch they're running about 55, 60 degrees, I'd say, on touch. Which is, like I say, normal. That's what they've all run at. Let's have a quick look. And then that'll be it. I'll pretty much wrap up for today and go chill with Rusty. Do you ever add anything to the TikTok shop? No, the TikTok have blocked this stream, so that's why there's like 9 people on. When I used to do all the pre-recorded videos, the TikTok shop, anytime there was a product linked in the video, I used to get like 10 to 30,000 views a video. If I put a product in, then it went to 200 views, so I just stopped doing that. And then it just wasn't worth it, because I don't really do TikTok only. It kind of wasn't worth chucking products on the shop, and then they go off if you don't sell. It just too much hassle, basically. Wasn't worth it. My SNES output video, I've done all the caps and fuses. What else could it be? Yeah, so there you go, 49 degrees. It's funny how I can now touch chips and know based on finger temp what they are. So if you touch something 49 degrees, it's like you kind of instinct is to pull away as soon as you start feeling it get warm. But no, you can hold your finger on and it doesn't get hot. It's just when you first put your finger on, because there's a momentary change in temperature quite quick, you kind of instinct is to move away. So no, that's literally well within operating temps. I think the PPUs run hotter than that as well on the other side. So no, all good, all working. First time, happy with that. And yeah, that'll do me for today, I think. Yeah, I'd say yes. If you've got SBIOS running, you need to run SBIOS 2.4.2 for it to work with the HDMI mod, but I've only just swapped over to trying that method, and like I say, the first one didn't work. So I've yet to do enough to tell you for sure that it definitely works. So I wouldn't necessarily take my word for it just yet, but I will be doing more after Christmas. And if I don't get that one working, I'll find one that does work. The other one is called, which is made very similar to how I was going to make my clean RGBs. It's called the, I think it's Electron Shepherd. You can get like a universal RGB and component to HDMI converter. It's basically just using an off-the-shelf chip, configuring it to component, which is what the Xbox wants to output for the best quality, and then converting it to HDMI. So it's not really like a design as such. It's using just off-the-shelf chips to do the job, but it works great and it's cheap, and that will definitely work. It's just getting hold of one of them basically is the problem. Right, guys, I will catch you probably tomorrow, maybe. Depends if I bother working tomorrow, but I've got it. Yeah, I will do. But it's whether I do software or any repairs. Hope you guys all have a good time, and